8:05, actually 8:06 now. Good evening. Welcome to another episode slash dish slash installment of Free Thinkers. I am Q. We have Denise cleaning her lens right now. Uh, and sure Nikki somewhere on the way as well. So guys, I
She's on
think
the
we
way.
have
She's
another,
out.
as usual. I think we got another good show for you guys today. We've been having, I mean, why would you expect anything else? We've been having nothing but great shows over the last. We've been on a roll. We've been on one.
Moving
So if you'd like to
on.
join us, all you got to do is just remember, go to the link. You can find a link on the Facebook page, or you can go to YouTube, catch us on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to YouTube already, make sure you do that. Also, if for anyone who understands how algorithms and things of that nature work, make sure you comment, like, share, subscribe, all of those things, and let us know that you're here. Sometimes many people are here, but we won't always know unless you say something to us. Um, and if you want to get on, just click on the link. If you've never been on StreamYard before, super easy. Just click on the link. It'll bring you in, and I'll bring you to the stage. Make sure you got something in your ears so you can hear directly. Also, keep in mind there is adult content and adult language, so be mindful of who you're comfortable listening to this around. And just come with your own thoughts and opinions, and we're going to have a good conversation. With that being said, I think we have something interesting. If I haven't been following our thread very intensely, but I think is this topic that you came up with, Denise, if I'm not
No,
mistaken?
well, it was a co-creation. Nikki shared some things
Co-creation.
in our group, and I was like, how do we speak to this particular topic? Because as free thinkers, we don't really like to talk about like hot topics per se. We try to stay
Mm-hmm.
away from that to keep our conversation fresh, just because we want to keep it fresh. Uh, but I was like, you know what?
But we did say
Based
we
on
were gonna take like a week out of the month to do a hot topic stuff
hot
type stuff.
topics,
So
we did. What did we say? We said third week of the month. Hot
yeah,
topic Tuesdays. Last week is the so third week of the month we'll do hot topic Tuesdays. Maybe today's hot topic Tuesday. I don't know. But Nikki, for those who are just tuning in, we're talking about the cost of resistance. And so Nikki shared some things in the chat about a lot of the protests are going on. The youth have been protesting lately, and how Texas has been responding to those protests, how the government officials have been responding to the protests, how the kids have been responding to the protests, how the opposition has been responding to the protest. And so I was like, you know what? Let's talk about the cost of resistance. And because this is free thinkers, I think we could take this so many different ways.
mm-hmm.
Um, and so I am excited to see where we take this conversation based on that
let,
title.
let me tell you about my cynical mindset first.
Mm-hmm.
I have not been following. I'm loosely following. Like I said, I don't follow hot topics or current events very often. I am of the philosophical mindset that if something is important enough, it's gonna
Cheers.
make my way, it's gonna make its way to me without me having to look for it. And this is
True.
one of those things that I haven't been looking into, but I've heard about it because I guess it's a big enough issue that it's starting to make its way to me. So let me say this without me knowing a whole lot about what's going on, but knowing enough, I do question if this is an authentic movement that's going on.
Oh,
I because okay, so one of those things is the protesting. That's not a new age thing. What are we at? Gen what generation is Gen Alpha or Gen
Gen Alpha is the
Z or
youngest.
where are they at right now?
High schoolers.
So in
I want to say they're Gen Z
would that
still.
be like Gen Z?
I think Gen Alpha is more like my nephew's age, which is like 7. But I have to look. Let me see where Gen Z ends and where Gen Alpha begins.
Gen Z.
Gen Z ends at 2012. People born in 2012. So
Okay.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, and
So
so
that's
yeah,
right. 14,
that makes
15
sense.
year olds. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Gen Alpha said
So
that.
Gen Z is did not grow up in the age of protesting, especially physical protesting, where we say we're gonna make these stances and we're gonna do these walkouts and these sit-ins, and that's not Gen Z.
Is it? It's
So
not. I want to push back
no,
on
it's
that.
not.
I want to push back on that
Okay. Okay, give me some
because
examples. Give me some
if
examples.
if if Gen Z is, how old is Gen Z? 14, 15. So in
Mm-hmm.
2020, when they're like 10, 9, and they're at home and they
Mm-hmm.
have to be kids that can't leave the house,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the pandemic, and you grew up in that at that impressionable of an age where you're like old enough to kind of see what's happening, even if you may not fully understand. I don't know. I could see
So you
that group,
saying they may have seen
specifically
some
that
of the
14, 15 group.
you saying they may have seen some of the George Floyd and Black Lives
For
Matters and
for sure,
some of those
for
type of things.
sure, for sure.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
and it was so normalized because again, we weren't going anywhere. We were all stuck at home. So this was, and I hate to say this to sound like I'm making light of it, but it was the most interesting thing that was happening at the time because
Right.
remember, sports weren't playing yet. Remember that whole thing?
Right.
And
Right.
there was literally nothing going on. There were no TV shows really, besides whatever was already recorded because nobody could
Right.
film. Because so this was the most interesting thing. All eyes were on this thing, and they were literally they were kind of catapulted into this because they were at home. So they were in the midst of those conversations in front of their parents, in front of whoever was around, their older siblings. Some of their older siblings or older people in their life may have been going out to these protests. Some of them may have actually been able to go to some maybe the more lighter protests. Like it's no telling
Mm-hmm.
what this particular group was able to see um, at around 9, 10 years old.
You know what? That you made a really good argument. So if that's the case, and I mean that is. I didn't even think of it like that. So if that's the case, then good. And I hope that because what I'm saying is I hope that this is something that they're authentically doing.
Both can
Um
be true, though. I say all that to say both can
but
be true.
there are elements of organizations that can gaslight other groups of people to do things that they normally wouldn't do. And that was my first thought, which is also a possibility as well.
And they live on the
So
internet.
you said look on the internet.
No, I said they live on the internet.
Oh yeah, right,
So it's very easy to sway
right.
them when they live on the internet. So
Well, it's not. It's kind of easy, but you would have to. Like one thing about kids nowadays, I think adults are more uh streamlined into the same um Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like we go to the same 5 or 6 sites. These younger people, they find their own groups. Like there's no, if you just ask what's one, you might say Discord or you might say Reddit, but there's not one specific source of social media that they all go to. They kind of all find their own pockets.
they don't do
Uh,
TikTok. They don't all do TikTok.
well,
They
you
don't
know what?
majority do TikTok.
My
I
boys
think they
Mine don't either. That's what I'm saying. They,
Can I raise my hand and say y'all kids don't count?
I know that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Can we like be real here for a second?
That's what I was kind of. I was thinking the same thing, Denise.
The way y'all think and the way we talk about things, the way that I assume that your children are raised, they're going to go off the beaten path. Like Y'all not
Yeah.
raising the typical kids.
I know,
Like,
and that's when you said that, I was like, I'm not trying to use my son as a bad example because yes, it's a little different. So
it's
yeah, I
very
don't know about
different.
that. I don't know about that. So
If they're allowed to use social media, I think, because I'm noticing, like, I don't know if y'all kids are allowed to use social media, like in this form of like
yeah,
Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
yeah. And
He's
my
allowed to
son
use social
doesn't use
media.
any of that stuff. He doesn't. He can, but he doesn't.
That's good. And Nikki,
The boys have Instagram, but not Facebook or TikTok. Kasha has all of them.
okay, interesting.
Mhm.
Because I know my friend, her daughter is 12, and she's not allowed to have social media yet.
Well, now don't get me wrong. When Kasha was younger, and you got to remember,
Yeah.
like, social media came around as she was growing up as a teenager. So she wasn't allowed to have social media for a very long time when social media first came out as a young teenage girl. But my boys, Carter's about to be 16 and then Kai just turned 19. So they're a little bit older now, but they've never been interested in Facebook. They really don't even do Instagram a whole lot, but that is the one social media medium that they do utilize is Instagram.
So I'm curious. I don't know. Are we just diving straight in? Is that where we are? Because I'm about to start asking questions. Or do we want to reset
or do
where
you
we want to
to
do?
Nikki, do you want to reset so we kind of find the baseline of your thought process? I'm just along for the ride, so.
Well, I mean, I missed everything until I logged in, so I don't know where. I don't know. I figured I would just catch up to where you guys were at, but whatever you want to do.
So basically, where we started was Q asked how the topic came together. I'm like, well, I feel like me and Nikki kind of co-created this topic. Nikki, you threw the things in the chat about what's happening with the protest in Texas and specifically the teenagers, the children who are protesting right now. And then I brought up, oh, it'd be interesting for us to just get into the cost of resistance and like explore that in general. And one of the questions that Q posed is he was wondering about the authenticity of it. And I don't necessarily think, and Q, you can speak for yourself, but I don't think he meant the authenticity of the children and what their goal is, but more so how they came to get to this point to where they wanted to organize, and like, is it possible that maybe they were fed things or etc.? Like, where do we think they're getting this information from? And then that's when I said, well, Q, if these kids are 14, 15 years old, around 9, 10 years old, they were at home during the George Floyd era and during those protests. So they very much were influenced by that. And so that's kind of where we landed in terms of where do we think the kids are getting their information? Do we think the information they're getting is accurate? Who do we think is influencing them? And just how they got to this point of organizing something like this. They obviously had to have some form of help,
Right.
just so like we can take it to the beginning or start from here. It really doesn't matter to me. We want to define resistance. Wherever we want to go from here, it's up to you, Nikki. Where are your thoughts?
When this kind of started taking place, I think we started having this conversation like late last week or maybe over the weekend when I jumped in the inbox and I was like, how y'all feel about, and then I realized, and obviously this wasn't something that was, like a national walkout, right? Like kids all over the country weren't maybe necessarily talking about it, but it was definitely something that was taking place in Central Texas. And then certainly a lot of the cities that, kind of hug Central Texas. So some of the smaller rural counties were doing it as well. And I'm sure that there were a lot of other states that participated. I don't know. I just know that 512 Central Texas area, it became, it was a thing. And the first thing I noticed was people just ragging on these kids, right? Ragging on them and bagging on them. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
What were they saying?
Just how they're just using it as an excuse to get out of class, right? And don't nobody really care. And,
both can be true. You can be using this as an excuse to get out of class and also really care about this.
But people coming from an attitude of y'all too fucking stupid to really have a leg to stand on. Y'all aren't smart enough to have the mentality to pick a side or to know enough about anything to be able to formulate an opinion to say, you know what? I don't agree with this, and I would like to show my displeasure some way, right? You saw more adults who were just very condescending and very just gave the kids no credibility simply because they were underage teenage kids, right? And I was like, yeah, no. And I don't know. It just made me, just so then the thought pops in my head. I sent it in the group message, and I'm like, what do we think? And then, ironically, since then, it's been like back to back fucking shit show almost every day here since then with walkouts and protests. And then there was a fight with an adult and a bunch of kids, and they beat him up. And like, the governor is like, we're gonna handle this. And you got teachers and schools and
the kids beat up the adults.
Huh?
The kids beat up the adult?
The adult got out of his vehicle and got into it verbally with a girl, a student who was protesting from South Austin. I think this was in Buda. Yeah, it was Buda, because it was Hays County. And so the adult was driving. The kids are walking down the sidewalk. They got their signs and are doing their thing. And the adult is driving in his truck, and he's got his red MAGA fucking hat on, and he's driving next to this slew of kids who are protesting, right? And words are said, obviously. Eventually, guy gets out of his truck and has words with one of the girls. Some shit goes down, and then the next thing you know, like, they're pushing each other, and then it's just like a mob of kids come and help old girl out, and now they're clobbering the man who got out of his fucking truck and came over and messed with a bunch of high school kids. And eventually he gets up and goes back to his truck, and of course they're throwing shit at the truck and throwing shit in the truck. But
my question real quick, Nikki, because the video that I saw, because I didn't get to see your video, because I think that's pulled now. The videos that I saw, probably conveniently, I didn't see it until right as they are already into whatever they're into. And it looks like he put hands on her and then everybody rushed him. I don't know what took place before that. I don't know if he was just really close to her or if he put hands on her. I don't know exactly what was said or done before he got rushed.
Right.
And what happened before he got out the car and what happened before he pulled up. Which I would be interested to know what happened before he pulled the car over, what happened when he got out of the car, and what happened before he got jumped. So, because it looked like he was in her face, and this is a teenager. But
and my thing was, because I wanted to know context as well, right? So I watched the video as well, and I mean, it's really just mass chaos, honestly. And maybe I need to watch it a couple more times to really see what the fuck it is that I'm watching.
That dude ain't had no business getting out of his car.
At the end of the day, it didn't matter. What did you get out of your car for? You are an adult. You left your vehicle to go harass a bunch of fucking young Mexican kids who are protesting ICE. You got your MAGA hat on. You are inciting unrest with these kids who are peacefully protesting. You don't have to agree with the fact that they're doing it, but they're doing what you asked them to do. They're peacefully protesting. They're walking on the sidewalk with signs. Right. They were blocking traffic. They weren't in the street. They were walking on the sidewalk with signs. And dude pulls up in his fucking MAGA hat and his pickup truck, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, Texas, and he's talking shit. I don't really know. I didn't see anything in the video that alluded to her throwing something in the car, which have made him want to get out and, talk shit to the kids. I don't know what happened for that to take place, but all you see is like him in the car, them talking shit, more shit happens. Guy gets out, walks to the sidewalk, starts talking shit with girl. It gets heated. It's like fall tussle downhill, and then everybody else shows up. So yeah, my recollection may be terrible. I just watched it a little bit ago, my damn self, but you should not have gotten out of your car. You did that on purpose. These are kids, man. Kids.
Let me respond to something really quickly, because looks like Dean Kruger said kids don't know nothing. I disagree with that. I think one of the biggest mistakes adults make, is thinking that this generation is dumb and oblivious and clueless and they don't know anything. I think this generation, um, they they don't make an effort to communicate with us, because we don't really try to communicate with them. And this generation is like, whatever, so what? I don't care. Like, you could think whatever. This generation is kind of like, you could think whatever you want to about me, and they still keep moving. But if you actually take the time to talk to uh kids in this generation, you'll find out they're a lot brighter than you think. They have goals and aspirations like that they won't, unless you actually sit down with them on their level and speak to them like they are respectable human beings versus speaking to them like they don't know anything. You'll find out that they know a whole lot, and in different arenas, they know a lot more than we do.
I was just gonna say that, Q. I was just gonna say that.
One of the other things, now he also said, if they're walking out, they were put up to it. That's a question that I have. I do have a question about the organization of it. It could be, it could be not. Now, one of the things I would say also is, if you just automatically assume that's what it has to be, then it's possible, but you're also you haven't done your history as well. If you go back to the civil rights movement, a large portion of those people who participated in those sit-ins and those walks, they were kids, same age, high school kids. So that this isn't nothing new. Now, and the reason I say that, there was still a organized leadership that thrusted those things, but you can't act like just because they're kids they don't know any better and they have no rights to be out there. We wouldn't have many of the freedoms that we have today, and this society wouldn't look like what it looked like if it wasn't for a bunch of those kids in the 50s and 60s who decided we're gonna get out here and make change. So think about that. And then last thing, and then we can jump back in. Jules said that Fox 7 reported that the man in Butte was arrested. So
Good.
There you go. Now, where you?
I do want to make this clear. I'm not saying the kids did anything. I am genuinely curious to know what happened in all those stages that I spoke to. Irie, Nikki, anything you want to add to what we've talked about thus far?
Just piggybacking off of one thing that Quentin said about kids. I remember when, and Quentin kind of remember this, I think you were out of school, but when the thing happened with the boys getting expelled in Decatur, and Jesse Jackson came to town. It was a big deal in my little bitty town. We walked, I don't know. Okay, somebody walked out. Okay, let me say, because this is called the cost of resistance. I was a senior and I was in fear of not graduating. I didn't walk out. So let me not put myself in the category. But if I wasn't afraid of not graduating and I had done what I was supposed to do out here, I would have walked out. But I remember the feeling was the march was going on that day with the adults and Jesse Jackson, and we were in school. And some things that happened that week, like they were trying to protect us from our own people at school. Like, oh, well, protesters are coming up here today, so we're going to put you all in the cafeteria. Like, some things had built up even for us as kids, that by the end of the week, we're like, we're walking out of here. So nobody had to like come tell us to walk out. Like, kids are smart. Kids have passion. They know what's right and wrong. They know how to express that. And so I think by the end of the week, like, a bunch of kids just walked out of school because they were just tired. So it's very possible the kids can like come up together and just say, we're not doing this today. So.
Yeah.
And I want to piggyback on both of y'all, because this is where we are. It's 2026. Who doesn't know that these are like the first steps that we generally go to when we are just starting out? I mean, what other areas? Children don't have many areas in which they can do. They can have, resistant behavior, right? and not be forced XYZ, right? So this is them testing the waters, but this is what they know. They come from the generation of watching us boycott and cancel and protest and march and, you know, set shit on fire and, you know, as my t-shirt says, organize, strategize, mobilize. Like they watch us coordinate. So when it comes down to issues that obviously are important enough to them that they decided they want to do something, this is what you do. You walk out. We've been staging walkouts for forever. We did walkouts when I was in high school. So I don't think that they're not smart enough to pull this off by any means. I think that this is just a natural course of action. This is an area in which they can make some noise. They can be disruptive. You know, they can bring attention to something that is important to them.
This
And
I
let me
have
say one more
concerns.
thing too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say I'll jump in, but the fact is,
Oh.
we as adult American citizens are not up in arms with all this bullshit that's going on. It is amazing in itself because this is so, like, I'm to the point that this is so ridiculous. I don't even have a response. Like, it's like if we're to the point that the racism, the taking away of rights, the freedom of speech is the way it's being done right now. If I'm like, if nobody sees this, then what? You know, some things get so crazy. It's like it's so blatant in front of your face right now. It's like if nobody sees this, then what else is it for me to say? You ever have like a conversation where you can't even have a conversation, and it's like I can't even have a conversation. If you don't see this, there's no reason for me to even have a conversation about it. What are you saying, Ivy?
This has sparked this because I remember how angry I felt during this little piece of the election. I don't know if you guys remember when this happened, but Trump went to like
Eating the cats and dogs.
No, God, just stop.
I thought
so
it
many
was
things.
over after that. I'm like,
No,
he just lost after this.
No.
You can't be presidential talking about they eating cats and dogs and people still
we
vote
were so
for you.
past all of that. He had already said so many things. He had made fun of disabled people and everything. Anyway, so he went to the black journalist thing, right? Do y'all remember that? Like he went to talk to like the black journalist thing.
No.
And one of the ladies just instantly was like direct and went in on him. And there were so many people on both sides saying she was wrong for that. Like, he's still a former president. There's still a way you're supposed to talk to somebody. And I felt that in that moment, what you were talking about, like being so upset you don't even want to have a conversation anymore. And I remember telling somebody, I'm so proud that somebody is not pretending like this is normal.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we talking about respecting this person and speaking to this person like he's a normal person?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, so we're still trying to play respectability,
and like
with
he's not
this.
insulting people every day.
So with this person, we still have to play this respect thing. But you know what happened around that time? I checked out.
Right.
Because what I realized was people didn't want to make sense. And if enough people in this country don't want to make sense, then it's like President Obama said, you're going to get the government you deserve after a while. And I hate to say that, but like, if you are this stuck on capitalism, if you're this stuck on racism, if you're this stuck on all of these things, this government, this sham of a government, it's literally what you deserve at this point. We don't all deserve it, but enough people wanted it that it's a reckoning for the country, basically, from your greed and your racism. And I'm kind of checked out on trying to just fight the ridiculousness of it. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, so there's something I wanted to say about where we are. And I think where a lot of us are at this point. We're tired, but like not tired in a oh, I'm just tired. Like, no, we're like actually exhausted, and we should be, because at the age that we sit, we've seen a lot of things up until this point. We were outside. We were walking out. We were protesting. We've done all that. And so, which brings me to this point. This is something that just sticks in my head. Now, the older I get, the more I relate to this. But there's a song on Kendrick Lamar's album, To Pimp a Butterfly, and the song is called Mortal Man. And in this, on this album came out 2015. Before Donald Trump was president, when Obama was still president. And it's funny because outside, if you look at the To Pimp a Butterfly cover art, he's outside what looks like to be like whoever the president is in front of the White House, and there's a whole bunch of black dudes with no shirts on, and it's just like, looks like mayhem. It looks like what's to come from, once Trump comes in office. I'm saying all that to say this. If you have time, go listen to Mortal Man by Kendrick Lamar, and it features an old interview. Now, this is before AI, y'all, so we know this is Tupac's really real voice. So it features an interview that someone kept of Tupac that they never released. And I want to say the interview comes from like 1993. And it's something that he said that stood out to me. In the interview, he says, in this country, a Black man only has like 5 years we can exhibit maximum strength. He said, and that's right now, while you're a teenager, while you're still strong, while you still want to lift weights, while you still want to shoot back. Because once you turn 30, it's like they take the heart and soul out of a man, out of a Black man in this country, and you don't want to fight anymore. We have been so run down and inundated with these things. It's like, it's so hard to give more to it. So I think what this means is it's our responsibility now to inform and enlighten the people who have the energy. So that means if the kids want to protest, let them protest, but somebody needs to inform them of what an agent provocateur is.
Right.
So that when somebody walks up on them, and for people who don't know, basically agent provocateur is somebody who's sent by the government to intentionally stir up violence and drama and mess at peaceful protests. So that they can then flip the story and make it seem like these children were unruly and they just didn't have it together. It's our job to inform them on the history of this. It's our job to make sure that they're safe. Maybe we don't want to be out there rah, 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 yelling with them, but someone needs to help them properly organize. I have been to a organized protest before. I mean, properly organized. I mean, they had lawyers ready to go. So if anybody got arrested, we took a Sharpie and you wrote that phone number on your arm. So if you got arrested and you didn't have your phone and you needed to call for legal help, you could call for legal help. They had people at the end of the line and the beginning of the line with reflector vests on that acted as security. Before we walked, they let everybody know, especially the white people, do not provoke anybody. Do not incite anything, because the first people who will be hurt will be people of color, not you. It was very clear. We knew where we were marching, where we were stopping, and there were even people who met us on the route with bottles of water in the middle of the summer. So I think it's our job, I'm saying all that, I know it's very long-winded, to say our role is changing because we are tired, but they got the energy. But while they have the energy, we have to protect them. We have to give them the knowledge, and we have to make sure that they are well informed, because they're ready, but we have to keep them safe. We can't have, there's no reason why they should have been out there by themselves and no adult was there to step to that man and handle it. No adult being there to protect them kids. That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Nikki.
The thing I said when I saw that video was, why did not one other fucking adult that was in traffic with that man stop? I said, I'd have parked my truck. I didn't care what lane I'm in. I'm stopping my truck right here. Y'all go around me. I'm getting out to find out what the fuck is going on over here with this man and all these kids. And I know that doing shit like that can potentially put you in the middle of some shit. I'm okay with that. The cost of resistance is sometimes you do get injured. Sometimes some shit don't go the way that you want it to go, but you still have to draw a line. And I was floored when I watched that video a second time, and I was like, hold up, nobody else got out of their fucking car. Nobody came to help him. Nobody came to help the kids. Like, no adults had stopped. And I think one of the reasons why it was easy for them to kind of go after each other or him to get out and start shit with a bunch of fucking kids and then them retaliate, right? Or protect themselves. I think the cars were stopped. I think they were I think they were at a stopping point. So, but it just, I was like, why are no other grown-ups getting out of their car? So 100% agree with you. What I did not like about this, and I never used to think like this before because I participate in a lot of protests as well. I don't anymore because they're not safe, right? They're just not anymore. There was a time where you felt there was a little bit of safety net, maybe, right? But you don't anymore because of provocateurs and because of, things like that, because of people like this. So that's the first thing I thought of is these kids all walking, is how in danger those kids were because there's so many fucking racist people driving past them while there's hundreds of them walking down the street with their signs, and how they were very much in danger of being hit by a car that didn't like that they were there, of having something being thrown at them from somebody driving past them. And I believe either late last week, it had to have been late last week, there was another school somewhere, not here, Central Texas, where there was a girl who was hit by a car at a school protest. It's just like, those are definitely risks that you take. That's a cost of resistance, right? But I don't know if those kids were prepared. I don't know if those kids were educated. I don't know if those kids have ever had this conversation, right? Like, I have no clue, but I know I damn sure had the conversation with my children.
Yeah. I'm curious for the people who have kids. If your kid right now says, Mom, Dad, tomorrow there's a protest, I'm walking out. We're going to be walking from here to here.
I would ask why.
Right.
The first thing I want to know is, are you informed about what it is that you're trying to do? Are you doing this because you just see other people doing, or are you really informed and you have a passion about what you're trying to do? And if you do have a passion and you are informed as to the why of the situation, then I would say okay, and I would escort from a distance. Like, my kids ain't gonna be out there by themselves.
Right.
Like, you want to go? Let me know. I need to know the details. Let me know when it is, and I'll probably be in my car from a distance, paying attention.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'll let you do it. I ain't gonna jump in and interfere. But like you said, somebody crazy jump out, then I jump out.
I'm right here. I'm
Right.
right around the corner where I'm supposed to be. Yep.
I have a question. Would you call off in order to do so? Would you be like, I can't work today, I got to go be with my child?
Absolutely.
Nikki, what are your thoughts? How would you handle this with your son's like, hey, listen, I know they got stuff going on, I know it's dangerous, but I'm walking out tomorrow. They told me I may not be able to graduate, but it's in my heart, I got to do it. How do you handle that? I know I'm adding extra stuff to it, but
might not be able to graduate. Like, hold on now.
Whoa.
This is just a new trending topic right now. How long have you felt this way?
Right.
You can't get no inkling over the weekend and decide you're gonna do something that's gonna change your life. You got some problems here. Hold on.
But so I would have to fight. I would have to fight that statement with administration first and let them know what is he doing that would cause him to not be able to graduate. If he completed all the requirements for high school graduation, you better give him a motherfucking high school equivalent graduation. I guarantee you that much. So if that were to be the leg to stand on, and he wanted to do it with the exception of that piece, oh, we finna fight. Best believe we finna fight. And you know me, I'm finna fight you. That's just what I do. So we're gonna fight about this. But let me give you the flip side to this, right? Because my son chose not to protest. He chose not to walk out. And because they did theirs yesterday. And I just watched a bunch of the Instagram posts from a bunch of kids who did it yesterday at my son's high school yesterday. And there was a lot of kids. A lot of kids. I was like, when I watched it, I ain't gonna lie, I got teary. I was like, oh my God, look at these babies. Like for me, you know, I live in a state of resistance, right? So for me, it isn't like go, you know, fuck the law, right? Like break the rules. Like it isn't that. It's that you got enough balls to stand on something. And so many people don't. And to see that in a young teenager, even if they're not even really sure what they're doing, they will never, ever forget yesterday. Never. That will last with them for the rest of their life, through the rest of whatever it is that this country turns into. They're going to remember everybody who walked with them. And, you know, I talk about ripples and planting seeds, and that's going to do something that I don't think would have happened had that not been an experience for them yesterday. I'm with it. So if my son told me he wanted to, I'd be like, Q, let me know which way y'all are walking, and I'm going to be over here around a corner in a truck. I'll be ready, you know? But in the meantime, walk, be safe, you know, and I'll deal with the school tomorrow. I'm with it. My son didn't though, because he's in all upper level, high level classes. All his classes are IB classes and tag classes. He's like number 31 in his fucking class. So he's like super like, I can't miss that day. Like if it was A day, he's like, I could have fucked off the whole day. He goes, but because it was B day, he was like, I cannot miss that block of classes and it not have a penalty for it, right? He already struggles with attendance, with being out for diabetes. So like too much missed school for him becomes an overwhelming burden. And he was like, I can always be anti-ice, you know, wherever I go, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. He's like, but it wasn't in my best interest to leave campus. And I was like, I appreciate that. I said, well, now, did any of your that participated get mad at you for not going? He was like, no.
Oh, good.
Because some of his friends did go. And, you know, of course they wanted him to go. And he was like, I can't do it. And they were like, you know, so they didn't trip. It was cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Now,
So
Damona said her youngest is 13. Damona said she would not allow her child to go if she couldn't be present. I agree with that. Like I gotta be present in order.
Right.
There's too much that can happen. There's too many crazy people out there.
It is.
And I have to be there to either interrupt or diffuse a situation, because if something happened to my child while I'm not around, I'm gonna do a lot of destruction.
Yeah, it's not
and
good.
it ain't gonna be bad for nobody.
It ain't gonna be good. I gotta be right there.
Ain't gonna be good for nobody. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the worst of Kendrick is somebody kill my kid and somebody gonna get killed. It is what it is, what it is.
Yeah. And these people out here, forget that these are children out here. They, you know, I mean, like, what? This man just got arrested for, what was it, Jules? They arrested for assault? Like, they, like.
2 cases of assault. And I watched that same video on Austin Live. And
okay.
The first thing that I thought was, way to go for those kids taking up for each other. Fucking A right. Like, yes. Because, you know, once an adult steps into the mix, a lot of the time they get different with the way that they would react. And I love the fact that the rest of the kids jumped his ass for jumping on a child. Like they weren't going to let it, and they knew there was strength in numbers, and that walkout, like you said, it's going to stick with them forever. They're realizing and seeing that there's strength in numbers. And, you know, my crew from high school, that was one of the commonalities that brought us together was, we're not going to let nobody get bullied. You want to fight one-on-one, fight all day long, but ain't nobody jumping nobody. You're not going to bully nobody. We're not doing that. And so our crew just kept building and growing and growing. Because if you were getting bullied, come over here, baby. We got you. Don't worry about it. Nah, you good? Come on. There's strength in numbers. We got you. At one point, I found out after high school that my crew actually made the street crimes. Like we were on a list. We weren't no gang like that. But because there were so many of us, we were on a list. But it was to protect each other and ourselves. And so to see them kids do that, first thing I thought was a sense of pride that it was messed up. Old boy got out of his vehicle like that. I'm glad the Butte police investigated and have already arrested him. And, you know, what if there hadn't been cameras everywhere? What if there hadn't been? But thank God them kids jumped and did what they did and took his ass down.
I have a question, y'all. Nikki put something in the group, and it was about Greg Abbott's response to this. Mm-hmm. And for those who are watching, if you don't know who Greg Abbott is, he is the governor of Texas.
He the worst.
Okay. His response, if I could summarize, was basically saying he is going to hold the administration of the school and the teachers responsible for this, as well as potentially remove funding for these schools.
They had a constitutional lawyer speak after that. Did you catch that part?
No, I didn't. Please fill us in.
He can't. He's running his mouth, bumping his gums as usual, and he can't just pull funding from whatever. All that's already been allocated. And in order for any of that to happen, he can certainly lobby for changes to be made in the future, but he's got a lot of work to do. He can't do the nonsense. He's just trying to flex his muscle to try and scare the schools into making it, in all reality, policies that they won't be able to enforce, because when thousands of kids decide to get up and walk out, the 100 teachers you have ain't gonna cut it to stop them. Right. What are they supposed to do? How are you going to hold them responsible? He can't do that. But by saying those things, he's going to put the fear into enough people who are too ignorant to go and research it or do the deeper dive, and may not have caught the constitutional attorney that spoke right after that, to know that he can't just yank y'all's funding. He can't whatever. He can start lobbying. If they start passing those things, it could happen in the future. And, you know, hopefully enough people will stand up against that, because as Texas State Board of Education and as California State Board of Education are the two largest in the United States, whatever they do, and some of y'all know I used to work in educational publishing. Whatever Texas and California do, eventually the rest of the states adopt. So when they start passing different things here in the state of Texas, a lot more outside of Texas should be paying attention, because whatever they do in here is eventually, because there's such huge buying power here for things that happen through the Board of Education, when they change curriculums, when they approve different things, that all has a downflow effect, because now the publishers start changing what they're doing and what they're creating to suit their big boys, Texas and California, and it suddenly becomes their only offerings. The things that they do here impact nationwide.
With that, I do want to say. Go ahead, Q.
I'm just saying, he gave a full pardon to the guy who murdered Garrett Foster for no damn reason other than that's who he is.
Yep.
I never forget that.
And so that was the man who was killed during the Black Lives Matter protest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He got sentenced, convicted by a jury of his peers, and probably about a year and a half later.
Someone was trying to run his wife over. Is that what it was? It was something like that.
If you watch the video, it was premeditated.
Clear cut. He made the block
It wasn't even a question about it. Yep.
He made the block to come back and hit him, and you couldn't miss him because his woman was in a wheelchair. And he had a long gun strapped to his chest, walking across the street, crossing 6th and whatever intersection he was at downtown. There's no way.
Which keep in mind, y'all, for people who are not from Texas, Texas is open carry. So you are allowed to walk down the street with a gun. So the guy who turned around to come, and God rest the dead, run this man over, was just completely in the wrong in every way,
But
shape,
even
form, or
then,
fashion.
he never pointed the gun at the car. They never did.
Yeah.
He was
No,
in
no.
the process of almost running people over, and they were running to aid because, like, yo, slow down, you about to run people over. And before they
Yeah.
even got anywhere close, then he just rolled the window down. He had a plan on what he was going to do before he ever got around there.
Yep.
Now keep in mind, this is the governor pardoned the man
Mm-hmm.
who murdered this other man who was peacefully protesting. With
Yep.
that said,
Yep.
Trump, he don't follow the rules of America either. So I have a hard time believing Abbott gonna follow some rules,
Right.
because now that Trump has shown that you can just jump over
Who
and
gonna check me?
he will probably have the support of the president. As much see, the more and more this year is making me want to be a voter, y'all.
Don't let him get you.
This year is
hold
making
on.
me want to be a voter, y'all.
Listen, stop looking at the presidential. If you don't
governor, though,
vote because of the electoral college and the things that where your vote don't count, you can stay away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Start local.
Yeah,
that's where your impact is. Vote local.
Start within your
all
city,
your
within
local
your
elections.
district, within your neighborhood where it does have an impact, and then see how far you want to vote from there. But when every time someone says I don't vote because they just look at the presidential elections, you're actually missing it.
And
Yeah.
when you go in that booth, you don't have to vote on every single candidate. So if you've got 15 local candidates and a governor and a president, and you don't want to do those, you can vote for your 15 local people.
Right.
Yeah.
I spend my time researching
if your
local.
vote for the president don't matter, then your vote for your county sheriff, that does matter. District judges, those do matter.
Because there's a judge who was one of the first people to speak. I believe you posted that in the group too, Nikki, where they were saying that they're going to do an active investigation into that. And I thought that judges were voted on. I'm not sure how judges are completely appointed independent on what, but I thought there is some sort of voting as it pertains to certain judges in certain situations. I don't know. I'm not into politics enough to know. But this is the question I wanted to ask. In the case where they tried to hold the teachers accountable, somehow charge the teachers, administration, et cetera, whatever, can they count on the parents? Has there been enough established trust, conversation, et cetera, for if something like that to happen, would these people be forgotten? Because something that I think happens sometimes is we ask for people to support us. We ask for people to stand up for us, but there's never any discourse about what happens when that person loses their job. Colin Kaepernick, and they can't play anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But they put it all on the line, and we ask people to put it all on the line, and once everything dies down, whatever happened to their life, it's almost like it doesn't matter. What do we do about that?
And that's the thing is, yeah, and it's tough. And now also when you go to that, when media is controlled by a certain group of people, they can kind of suppress information and make you forget about a lot of things. So even going on, even when a lot of that Black Lives Matter stuff was going on, and we was like, how come more police don't speak out about it? It was a Black woman police officer who did speak out against a lot of those things. People don't remember. She got fired. She lost her pension. She ended up not having a job, anything. And she, like, what else are we going to do? Yeah,
she lost her pension.
Yes. So the people, when we ask for people to speak up and speak out, those are the type of things that happen. And then it gets swept under the rug when it's not a hot news story anymore.
Yeah, it goes from being front page on the New York Times to being page 28 of the whatever local gazette when the person's job is lost and all of those things have happened. But what can we do as
always front page
as not owning large corporations? There's not much, but shopping local, making sure that you're supporting local and making sure that local people are hiring those people that have the same mindsets and attitudes is the closest we can come to that. Because once corporate America blackballs you, yeah. And as far as someone like, Q, what you talking about, a woman who was a police officer, she lost her livelihood. Now you can't, you got to be licensed and regulated. And, that once you start losing licenses and get blackballed in those type circles, you got to find a whole new career path, a whole new life, a whole new livelihood. But supporting local and small mom and pop shops, it's one of the worst things that's ever happened to us is the loss of all the mom and pop shops, that independence.
That part. Oh, that's so good. That's so good, Jules, because us not having ownership of things is what puts us in a place where
they can control.
They can control us. We are silent. We are quiet. I'll tell you this. I found out the day before the global protest last Friday that there was going to be a protest. And so I was like, oh, I wish I would have known, because I took off Thursday because I needed a mental health day because I was going to crash out at work because they was playing with me. So I had to take a mental health day. The next day, I'm like, dang, do I want to take off again? I really want to resist, but I'm like, I'm not going to take off. But I'm not going to go to the store. I'm not going to make any transactions with my bank, or I'm going to, because the other thing they were saying was like digitally make a stance, which is just like cancel subscriptions and things like that, because they wanted a digital footprint to show that everybody was trying to do something. My question is, are you willing to lose your job for the cause? Are you willing to lose your job for any cause? Is there any cause that's been past or present where you're like, I'll lose my job, I'll lose my livelihood? If I'm a salesperson, I'll never be able to be in sales before again, like Kaepernick. Like, I mean, your livelihood is completely shifted. Is there any cause that you're willing to put your livelihood on the line for?
There is a cause and there are some causes, but I would not do it for every cause because there's always a cause.
What's the one you're willing to do it for?
Probably the one that picks me.
Mm.
And what I mean by that, sometimes you just at a certain place at a certain time, and that cause picked you at that moment in time. If I'm in the middle of it, then I can't turn my back or I can't turn my head to it. So then I may have to get involved in other situations where if it happened when I wasn't present, or if it wasn't something that didn't directly affect me, I feel like it didn't prompt me to be a participant, then I probably wouldn't, because there's always a cause. But there's certain things that your number get picked. That's just like fighting. Would I fight? No, I'm not fighting people all the time, but every once in a while, then your number get chose. And when your number get chose, then it's just time to I guess this was the time.
But I'll add, we live in a time where our safety net has been stolen. The vast majority of us are 1 or 2 paychecks away from poverty, homelessness, one hospitalization away from those things. The vast majority of people are not sitting on nest eggs where they can take time to figure out a whole new plan. A lot of people don't have a family that they can go and be supported by if they lose everything because of that. Where are you going to go? My dad's gone. I take care of my mom. I don't have a net like that anymore. I don't have. So when I was younger and I had a safety net before my dad passed away, and I know that there were causes that my dad would have said, you know what, baby girl? Fucking A right. I raised you to be that woman. Hell yeah. Come on home, baby. I got you. I don't have that anymore. Right? So my reality also shapes my ability to stand in certain spaces. And I've got to be realistic about what that cost is to my life, right? Because if it's going to mean that I'm going to lose my job, which then means I'm going to lose my home, and now I've lost everything that I have, and I'm living in my vehicle for as long as I can hold on to that. What good have I now done? What good has my sacrifice been to whatever that cause is?
Yep.
But also, if it came to the right cause, you know, I agree with you, Q. I think the cause definitely chooses you sometimes.
Denise, one of the things that you talked about, Denise, when you're talking about how the resistance game is a young man's game.
That's the reason.
But
they can risk more. They have less to lose.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. There's a lot of stuff I would have did in my 20s, because if it came down to it, even my life, it just affects me. Now, it affects the memory of my loved ones, but it doesn't directly affect them financially or their livelihood. But now I'm responsible for a lot of people, and the things that I do directly affects a lot of people. So there's so much that you take into consideration that gives you pause or hesitancy, that when I was in my 20s, let's go. Whatever, let's go. But and I could make that decision thinking about myself. Now 90% of the decisions that I make, I'm thinking about other people.
Ooh. Nikki.
I mean, it's an easy question for me to answer, because I don't have to worry about losing my job. That's not been something that has been a fear for me, right? My safety net's gone because my dad's not there, but I'm my safety net. Like, you can't tell on me. You can't tag my company. You can. Who are you gonna fuck? There's no HR. I am HR. I am the fucking boss. I am the owner, the CEO, the vice president, the president, the fucking managing. I'm all of them. You can't fucking tell nobody on me. You couldn't tell on nobody from me before. And this is why y'all need friends like me. Y'all might not be able to go into your fucking place of employment and talk that shit. You might not be able to post the thing that you want to post. You might not be able to wear the t-shirts that you want to wear. You might not be able to put your face on some shit. But I can. And maybe that's part of why
Davey will.
What'd you say, Jules?
I said, that's right. Nikki fucking Davey will. God dang it.
and that is what my dad built. That's what my dad built, right? He made sure that this little girl who's never been compliant, who's always been resistant, you know, is going to be in a situation to where if she don't want to do what she don't want to do, she's going to be all right. You know, the question that you just asked, what are what are some things that we would lose our job for? Think about how many of us, you know, had to fight COVID for all those years, right? Had to fight losing a job and not being able to get an advancement and not being able to get a new job. And shit, Jules had to jump through fucking hoops on fire just to be able to maintain a lifestyle and not get that shit put in her body because she didn't want to. If you wanted to, if you didn't want to, that's fine. But a person shouldn't lose their retirement, their military career. They shouldn't lose their professional career, right? So there's a lot of things that people are willing to put their life on the line for. So for me, I don't have that fear. So I go into it with 100% let's fucking go, because you can't tell on me. The only thing that I fear today in those spaces is physical harm and injury, and I gotta fucking get home. So if I have to fight from another medium, I will. Maybe my body going in front of a protest is not something that needs to happen anymore. I can serve my purpose elsewhere, right? I'm not willing to, there's only 3 people in this world I'm willing to die for, right? So outside of those 3, I need to be here for them to be able to complete this mission. But I'll fight you every day if that's what I have to do, because I'm not afraid of the repercussion. I've already done that. That's what I do. And I think that because of that, the ripple that I send off into my children is also the same mentality. We don't have to be afraid. You know, yeah, there may be some things that I might, you know, if I go get a job for somebody else or go want to do this or go want to do this, but they see that you don't have to. So what I do is possible. You don't have to be told what you can and can't do by somebody else. but there's a cost to my lifestyle, a huge cost to my lifestyle. I've made peace with that. I'm okay with that.
So the financial part of it is not an issue for me. I've operated in the sales industry for 20 plus years. As a salesman, if you know how to sell, you never have an issue finding a job because we are always in high demand. So you just don't have issues with that. My issue is more my livelihood being my life or my freedom. So those are the things that I think about. And this is the dangerous part of me. I will give my life for a stranger, somebody I don't even know, if the setting or the timing lines up. That's one of the reasons why I'm very careful and particular about where I go, what I do, what situations I put myself in, because I know if I'm in the middle of a situation, I don't have the ability to run or turn my back from somebody that's in need. So I got to be very cautious not to put myself in a position where I'm about to give my life for a stranger, because I will do it. So that's why I'm another reason why I'm careful, because it is not when it comes to standing on something, that ain't a whole bunch of in between ground for me. Either I stand back and observe, or I'm all the way in. So that's I know it's dangerous for me because I'm weird like that.
I think that's important to note too, though. Q, is having that self-awareness. When you are the kind of person who autopilots into helping, or autopilots into like, whoa, this is not fair, this isn't right, I gotta, like, if you know you're that person, you very much so have to be aware of where you show up. I noticed that about myself. I'll like, if I see, like, if I'm walking down the street, for instance, I seen a kid, he wasn't paying attention, I just grabbed him. Like, I didn't even think about it. I was like, yo, you ain't paying attention. Like, when you know that's your mindset, you do have to be aware, because you might find yourself, like you said, Q, in the middle of something you ain't really even trying to be in the middle of. You ain't even maybe even quite thought out all the way, just because you see there is a need. And so you have to be mindful if you know that you are that person. I forgot her name, but she posted something about the cost of inaction. So I kind of want to, I feel like I saw that. We did this. I think I want to take things, I want to shift things to a different direction.
Let's go. We got 20 something minutes.
Are there things in your life, whether it be job, lifestyle, family changes, aging, mental health, spiritual health, financial, where you have been resistant to change that you need to make?
Of course.
Like what, Q?
Mostly, I have a tendency of staying at jobs longer than I'm supposed to. I have this loyalty thing that I'm trying to break away from, because it's not an admirable thing to be loyal to jobs. Jobs should it should be a means to an end to get you from one point to a next stepping stone. And sometimes, most of the jobs that I've worked at, I've stayed there longer than I was supposed to. And not only that, I'm smart enough to where I see the writing on the walls. I see where the company about to break down. I see where things are falling apart. I see all this stuff. Like, I'm sitting up here paying attention, because I just pay attention. I see stuff. I'm like, oh shit, it's going downhill. And I still stay on the boat, even though I see the boat sinking. I stay on the boat.
Why? Do you think yeah, that's the question. Why? Is it fully loyalty, or is there more? Is it comfort?
It's a lot of comfort, loyalty, comfort, being comfortable. Being a person who leans toward routine and familiarity. There's a lot of and that's just one aspect. If you went back down all of those categories, there's a lot of things that what was the question that you was asking?
Areas of your life where you have been resistant to change.
Oh yeah. So it's a lot of it's a lot of areas that I'm resistant to change.
Yeah,
'Cause
and it's
I
at a
find
cost, at a cost to you, basically.
I find comfort in routine, and I don't need my life to be spicy. I know how to make my life spicy when I want it to be, but the 95% of my life, I want it to be routine and expected, and I like boring. 95% of the time.
Super fine.
Okay, I have a follow-up question, but I'm going to get everybody else's answer first, and then I'll have a follow-up question. Jules, what about you? I miss you, Jules. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty of areas in my life, and that Cancer nature of me that comfort but loyal to a downfall. But once I get backed in that corner, then I come out all claws, and then I'm ready to just and change everything up. Okay, I'm gonna burn the world. When I finally get to that breaking point, then I will burn it all down and start again, and I'm fine with that because I have me, my little shell, and I'll be good. But I just got finished revamping my entire LinkedIn profile, and I'm learning all these new tools and stuff. And I'm thinking, yeah, there's a lot of when you start doing those things, it's like, okay, there's little steps, but I'm ready for it all to change right now. And
so the same for you is that it's jobs. You stay
jobs and people, relationships, absolutely. Yeah. Loyal to a fault. But I believe that in giving that loyalty, that's how you'll receive it back, but it's not the reality, and it's not the reality of corporations or relationships or people that life keeps teaching me that everybody ain't got the same heart as me. Right. So that's when at 51 years old, that's one of the things I keep relearning is that it's not the reality of it. And what you give out does come back around, just not always from the same places and spaces that you invest into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different spaces where I'm highly resistant to change, just because once I'm in I don't change. Like I move into a home. I set everything up in the first few weeks. I'll move everything to where it works. I'll be there for 8 years and not move a thing unless I buy a new piece of furniture. I don't like change. I'm not big. I hate moving. I don't like any of those things. So yeah, my sister, on the other hand, she's the Gemini. She'll change her furniture every couple of weeks.
Oh God, no.
Mm-hmm. She's just moved a month, not even a month ago, and she's already rearranged the living room 4 or 5 times. She's like, I think I like this. No, I like that. I'm not like that. I walk in, I'm like, yep, this. Okay, I'm comfortable now. Let's go.
Yeah. Nikki.
Jobs. I don't say a job's too long. I don't say a job's too long. I resistant. Areas where I'm resistant. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's for me been part of just the journey of growing up and becoming a emotionally balanced woman and better woman, right? Is making better decisions for my life based on what I know would be, optimum, right? So just getting to a space where discipline and patience are mandatory, and not falling into that place of comfort and accepting things for what they really are. I think maybe the only, I think for me, the area where I'm probably most resistant might be physical health, maybe, right? Like the only thing that I really continue to tell myself is I need to get my ass to the gym. Like you need to go to the gym, you need to go work out, you need to be more physical. Like I'm physical every day, so I don't get on myself, but I know that more needs to be done.
But you're resistant to it. Why?
Because ain't nobody trying to fucking do that. I'm not trying to go to no damn gym and go be around people and shit. And I ain't trying to do all that. Drive there and go there and no, I'd rather be at home doing nothing versus being there doing. But I say that, right? And once I start going, then of course it's gonna feel wonderful. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have been doing this, but I don't want to do any of that. No, once I'm home, I don't like to leave. So no. So that's really the only place I think I'm really resistant. I'm proud of the places where I've had to kick my own ass into gear to stop being resistant, right? To have more positive outcomes for my life. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck I want to be when I grow up. So, you know, like in terms of professionally, I have no idea where I'm going to land or what I'm supposed to do. So, you know, for me, it's just doing what works, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I do everything and it just works that way. I don't know. Only thing I'm real resistant to is taking my ass to the gym, to be completely honest. I feel like that's really it.
Okay. So my follow-up question to
Hold
that question.
on.
I knew he was
Time
gonna do that. I
out.
knew he was gonna do that. I
Time
knew
out.
he was gonna do
Well, then you
that.
already know. Answer the question, Denise.
Ah!
Answer the question, Denise.
Okay, where I know I am resistant the most, there's two places. Working on it. I am resistant the most when it comes to being more social, networking, and things like that, and like inserting myself into a community. I am so
I've
resistant
had that
to
before.
that. I'm extremely resistant to that. I am such a, like, for the people I click with, it's like this. The stuff that I kind of have to work at, I'm like, ugh. Like I like automatic, like we just click.
Right.
And I know that's not necessarily the way it works all the time. You have to kind of just like work at things, or some things just come a little bit easier. Or but for me to actively work at building, like this is something my friend told me just Thursday. There's a cost to community. And the cost is sometimes showing up when you just want to be at home, when you don't really want to go to this party, you don't
I'm
really
horrible
want
at
to
that.
do this thing.
Yes, you are.
I am. I like my home.
You know,
I don't want to go anywhere.
and I get it. And then sometimes I'm like, dang, like I wish it was more like, but it's like, but Denise, you don't go anywhere. You go once every 6 months and you remember everybody and you just expect it to be cool. But they ain't seen you, baby.
You've not been social like since the last album drop. You've not been out too much socially.
No, I have since the fallish.
Okay.
I fell all the way back in the fall. Ain't nobody seen me. Y'all
Why?
notice I ain't been on social media. I be gone.
Yeah.
I like, especially when I'm going through a major shift. I don't want to be around anyone. I want to go and be in my little cocoon.
Yeah.
And I want to go morph
So
into the butterfly.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes
socially, I have a 3-strike rule for myself socially.
Tell
If
me.
someone that is that I consider a friend or associate or somebody that I'm close to, I won't tell them no 3 times. Like if there's hey, I'm having a party. If you invite me somewhere and I pass up on it, and you invite me and I pass up the second time, the third time I'm going no matter what.
I like that. I like that.
Okay, I like that.
I like that.
And
I'm trying to do.
with people like me, and people stop asking you or stop inviting you places, and then you be like, well, how come you invite me? Because your ass don't ever come. So I mean, some of that stuff, yeah, I might be more comfortable. I might want to stay home. I might have had a long week and I just want to chill for the weekend. But
Right.
Developing relationships with my friends is important to me too.
Yeah.
And at
Yeah.
some point I can't keep saying no. So if I didn't get to it the 2 weeks ago and I didn't get to it the third time, yep, I'll be there.
Yeah, for sure.
And my wife already know. Because they be you going over such and such? You look tired, baby. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't come to the last 2 events, so I'm showing
I
up.
gotta get my 2 no's.
Yeah.
The third one's gonna be a yes.
I like that though.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that. That's a
You've
good rule
mentioned
of
that
thumb.
before too, and I respect it greatly.
Yeah, I like that. I am trying to also make a concerted effort to pull up, right? And just, I have a habit of going to the same places and fucking with the same people all the time, and getting into this route, this mindset that like, right? There's nothing to do, blah blah blah. Like, so I'm making a concerted effort, and I'm doing it by myself. Like, most of the time, I don't have my girls with me. I'm just going to different places, listening to different music, hearing different DJs, different grooves, different food, different. Like, I'm just going to fucking places, and I meet the coolest fucking people when I go out by myself. There's just something that happens when you go out by yourself and other people are out by themselves. Like, it's always a great link. But my purpose is for my face to be seen, right? Like, I ask people to support.
Yeah.
I always want to make sure that people are like, yeah, you support in return. So I
Right.
always make
Yeah.
sure.
hmm
Yeah.
So one thing that Damona just said, I'm resistant to doing things on my own. Simple things like going to a movie or event. I've missed out on a lot because of that. I was like that very much too. And you know what? My best friend kind of broke me of that. Cause like we would go out all the time everywhere, like especially if I'm down at the domain, if I'm serving, you wouldn't see me without seeing him. Cause if he wasn't out there, then I wasn't going out there either. And then
Right.
sometimes I hit him like, "What you doing?" "Oh, I'm at the movies." "Oh, who you with?" "Nobody. I'm with myself." "Like, you go to the movies by yourself?" "Yeah." I'm like, "Dang, that's crazy." Or then like I had to break myself of feeling like I had to be with somebody else in order to go to certain place. So I go to the movies all the time by myself now. I'm like, "Oh yeah, ain't no problem." I'll go out. You'll see me out in different spaces by myself. Like, no problem. I'm cool with that now. But it was weird for me at first. Um But yeah, that's something you got to do it a little bit. If you do it
You
a little
have
bit, then
to.
it won't be so strange. But now I go out to places by myself all the time now, and I don't even think about it.
Damona, if you're thinking about doing this, you should totally do it. I obviously am a big advocate of that. And it kind of gets addictive because this is the cool thing, Damona. When you want to go somewhere, but you don't want to stay long, and you don't know when you want to leave the house, and you're not really sure when you want to leave the place once you get there. When it's just you don't have to keep looking over like, are you good? You sure you ready to go? You want to stay? If
Right.
you want to stay, you can stay. But if you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go, we can go. But if you don't want to, it's
Right.
fine there. I can stay longer. You don't have to do none of that. You have to negotiate. You can
As
just leave
yeah,
and go as you please. You ain't got to be
Right.
like, do you want to watch this movie? You got to sit on the trailer. You got to see if they want to see it too. You ain't got to do none of that. It is even going out to eat.
yep.
Going out to
Yeah.
eat is kind of chill too, because it sometimes, especially if you get a good waiter and it's just you, it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Right.
So I highly recommend. There's
Meaning,
one more
And
thing.
like you said, that's the other thing. It forces you to actually not just meet, but speak to and have more extended conversations with people that you normally wouldn't have. See, if you out with your girls, you might see somebody that you kind of know, and I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" I dap them up and I keep walking because I'm with my people. When I'm by myself, I might dap them, "Hey, what you doing out here?" And then there's more of a conversation that will happen. So I get to know more people, and I get to know more about people when I'm out by myself that I normally wouldn't if I was with a group of pre-existing friends.
Facts. Yes.
I,
Yes. It's a better way to network whenever you're out alone, for sure.
I have
Or
found
even
that
at the bar.
you go out, like if you go out to eat by yourself, or if you go out where there's a bar, always sit at the bar. Always. I always sit at the bar, and you will all, because that's generally where people who are by themselves go.
Right.
So you sit at the bar. The bartender knows their job. Like they know. It ends up being like the best night ever. That's how I know all the bartenders that I know, because they like good people just as much as we like good people. And if you're good people and y'all just vibe, man, it is so much better than sitting at home waiting for something to happen. And Damona, I was the same fucking way for a long time. I was in a relationship with somebody who never wanted to do anything, and so I missed so many concerts and I missed so many events. And when that relationship ended, I was like, I am never gonna miss another fucking thing that I want to do again, because over the course of those years, like, there have been comedians that have passed that I'm like, man, I'm so glad I went and saw them perform. Or there have been
Right.
artists that I was a fan of that I was so grateful that I'd seen them perform, that there were things that I very much missed that I was grateful that I could make up for later, right? But Man, no, I'm so far away from feeling like I have to have somebody all the time to go do shit, man. To your point, Denise, I've realized over the last couple times I've been out by myself, one of the reasons I think I enjoy it is because I don't have to entertain anybody. And I'm a good entertainer, but when I go out, I'm not chatty. Like, I like to just fucking people watch, and like, if we're in a club, I'm gonna sip, smoke, and body rock. Like, I don't want to be having conversations and shit. So sometimes I feel bad when people come up to me, they want to be chatty, and I'm just like, I'm not here
Right.
to fucking talk. So like, sometimes I feel like my friends are like, man, you're not a good host. Well, I'm not the fucking host, first of all. We're all here together. But like, I'm not interested in talking about my day. I don't want to, no, not here. No,
Not at all. No, I'm with you on that 1000%.
buddy. I do enjoy that.
Oh,
And to the
Damona,
point
something
that
else.
up
Okay,
there
go ahead,
about real quick, the social anxiety piece, nobody's watching you. Everybody's in their own world worrying about what everybody else is thinking about them. They're not worried about you because they're worried about what everybody's thinking about them.
Yeah.
I literally was going to say
Oh,
that.
no.
Like,
Yes.
I think people be watching me, though. I
1000%.
feel like people be watching me.
Okay. So I was gonna say the same thing. I went somewhere one time and I was so nervous. I had so much social anxiety because this is like my first time really going out. Like Nikki, I had been in this long-term relationship and he liked to go and do things, but I was primarily a homebody and we only hung out because that was my best friend. So I really wasn't in a bunch of social settings. So this was my first time having to really do this, and I did get drunk before I went. I think it was some tequila. And got a little buzz, and so because of that, I was very talkative, and I didn't have like this block up. I'm not recommending you get drunk to be social. I'm just telling you the story. So I'm out, and I'm like, anybody that talks to me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I'm just like not used to being in these situations. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to, and then everybody's like, just be yourself and this and this and that. And then I would meet a lot of people be like, oh my God, me too. I feel the same way. A lot of people feel that same way. And maybe the looks that you see on their faces aren't them looking at you like, who is this? They might be looking at you like, oh shit, do I say something? I don't know how to say something. They might be looking at you and be like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I like her hair. I want to say something. Maybe she might not respond well to me speaking to her, like whatever. Like there's so many things that goes through people's heads when they're first seeing someone they've never saw before. They're in the space with a lot of people too. So the more you can like understand that everybody probably feels some sense of like social anxiety to a degree, the better it'll be for you because you're like, oh, okay, this is normal. It's actually really normal to be nervous around people you don't know. I think it's a defense mechanism because it's like you kind of have to be on alert because you don't know these people. So it's normal, but I think you'll like it. So like you said, you're working on it. So keep on working at it. Oh, y'all thought I forgot. Y'all thought I forgot. I didn't forget. Oh, freethinkers homework. Because we are getting to that time. Okay, for the freethinkers who are new to freethinkers, or for the people who are just coming for the first time, or haven't been tuned in since we've been doing freethinkers homework. So for the next month, we have decided that we are going to be stepping outside of our comfort zone, and we're going to be sharing our goals and our dreams and ideas with people. Okay. Now, again, I say, this is going to be uncomfortable. Some people are going to look at you crazy. Some people may not react at all. The goal is for you to get comfortable verbalizing what you want to do and normalizing what you want to do. Does anybody want to report back their findings from this week?
I didn't do a lot, but I did tell one of my closer friends about a couple different dreams that I had. One of my crazy dreams, like I mentioned a few weeks ago, which I feel it almost doesn't count because it was good, but this friend I'm referring to, they think further outside the box than I do. So it's like it wasn't
Even
even like
better.
right. So anything that I do, it's like, oh yeah, I've already been thinking about that. But it was a good conversation, and I also talked about even different business aspirations and things that I hadn't told anybody else about, and they were super excited about it. And they're like, yeah, let me know. I want to be a part of this. Let me know what I can do to help, and keep me posted on it. So it was really like, I want to partner with you on this endeavor. So it was good. I didn't get to talk to as many people as I wanted to, but the conversation that I did have was very productive, and it was motivating.
Love that. That's so good to hear. And that's another thing, freethinkers, this is what we were talking about. You start sharing stuff that you want to do, you never know who is a resource for you. And these goals and these ideas, if you're not sharing and you're not talking, you never know who's thinking like you, how to deal with it. This might be your partner, this person that you randomly speaking to. They may introduce you to someone. They may point you in the direction of some organization that's either already doing that or funds people who are already doing it. You have no idea what you might run into when you just are willing to share. Nikki?
No, but that's why and that's kind of what I was saying last week, is I know that once I start telling, these things to people, that's what's going to happen, right? So it's going to me to have to fucking do some work.
Oh, that's one of those fear of success.
I don't know
Which a lot of people have that though. I mean, there is a certain level of okay, and I don't even mean just hold on. I don't even mean just fear of success. But also what I have learned is there's a lot of people, no matter even, and I'm not even saying you think lowly of yourself, but there's a lot of people out there that think higher of you than you actually think of yourself.
Right.
And they are waiting and willing to find a way to be a part of that success based on how they see or perceive you. I have this issue with one of my brothers all the time. I tell people, like, anytime Blue talks about anything that he's doing, I'm like, I'm just waiting on you to see it. I always use I don't know, have y'all ever watched the Last Dragon?
No.
Bruce Leroy. Oh my God, Denise, you ain't never seen. Have you seen that, Nikki?
Yeah, it's been forever. But yeah.
Oh my Jesus. That was one of my favorite all-time movies. But the whole moral of the whole movie is he was in search for the master the whole time, not knowing that he was that he was searching for.
Come on, hey.
And it was like, and he kept going to his sensei, well, master, I need to. He was like, look, you keep looking all these other places. There's one place that you ain't looked, and it's only there that you're gonna find it. And that place was you. In the middle, he finally got it. Like, oh, it's me. So in a lot of instances, and not everybody else around him saw it except for him. Right. And that's what happens with us a lot of times. Everybody else sees you in a different light than you actually see yourself. So that's when I say fear of success, then it's not I ain't saying you scared of it, but it's like not in thought, but there's a part of you indeed. There's a part of you indeed that don't see it. Because if you really saw it, then you move a little bit differently. And I know I'm definitely guilty of that.
Guilty as charged. Nikki, did you do the homework?
I mean, I did a little bit. So I told the kids we had homework. They were like, "What? Y'all got homework?" So I told the homework, and my son, my oldest son, he was like, "Let's go." Of course, right? But I do want to. So I'm resistant to doing this fucking homework, obviously.
Because you told that story last week. You ain't slick. You is not slick. Slick.com.org.edu/ I already heard that story.
But I do know that I do know that whatever is supposed to happen is really just kind of, it's at that festering place, right? Like it's
bubbling.
It's sat and bubbled long enough that it's like, all right, bitch, like, like I still don't know what it is, right? But I know that if I pull the right people in and I sit in the right rooms, some magic can fucking happen. And I still don't even know what that's going to be, but I know that that has to happen. And so this homework assignment is part of that. And it's just a matter of me delegating time properly. So thank you, Denise.
You're welcome. You know what,
You'll
too,
get it.
y'all?
You know
I
what I'm
want
gonna
you
do?
to
I'm gonna set an alarm. I'm gonna set
Go
an
on.
alarm and be like, go call somebody and tell them, right? You know, I'm
I
about to set an
know,
alarm right
no,
now because it's like
no.
I got to be
And
conscious
guys,
when I do it.
it can be small. Everything doesn't have to be the grand thing. I was randomly like, you know what? I want to put some art on Etsy and just sit there and waited for a response. And they're like, okay. And then like especially when you're someone who's like, okay, what's the big deal? And you start telling them your idea and you're like, okay, yeah, you could totally do that. What, like, why are you making this such a huge deal? Like this,
Right.
like the more you say it, the more you realize it ain't that serious. In terms of like doing it, it's work. There's
Right.
steps that need to be taken, but it ain't that serious. Do you know how many people wish they were doing what we're doing right now? Sitting in front of a camera every week, speaking about a topic freely.
Right.
Right. That is true.
Yeah.
I
And
know
this
that's
happens
hard. It's
every
hard
week.
for a lot of people. Yeah.
Somebody is overthinking this right now. There's
Yeah.
somebody watching right now, like, dang, one day I'm going to get on and I'm going to share my opinion. One day I'm going to.
Right.
That's
And it
true.
ain't that
That's
big of a
absolutely
deal.
true.
If you're thinking about that, I want to see you next Tuesday.
Hello.
Tell them,
Because it ain't
Denise.
that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Get
Tell
your
them,
butt on
Denise.
this. Get your butt on this live. We want to
Tell
see you. We
them.
want to talk to you. We want to hear from you. You got some interesting stuff that you could share that none of us have the idea for because we're not you. And
Yeah.
don't deprive us from good ideas
Mm.
because you might be a little bit camera shy, or you think you might slip up, or you think life is not meant to be lived perfectly. Now, that being said, what I have noticed about talking more freely about the things that I want to do is that I'm not overthinking it as much. And I am, when I get a random idea, be it some dream idea or it's just a casual idea, I'll do it. I wanted to barbecue. I've never barbecued before. I've
Oh,
watched my
really?
mom barbecue,
That's dope.
right? I watched my mom barbecue and I've like watched the chicken she already had on there or something like that. But I never like set the coals up myself and did the, you know what I'm saying? I never did it. Yesterday I was like, I'm a barbecue.
Okay.
Dope.
Like 7:30. And it was just like, how many things am I not doing that are really basic, simple things that I'm like overthinking? And I'm like, because I got to make sure that I understand how coals work with fire. And then
Right.
I got to make sure that the chicken is seasoned in such a way that it ain't that serious.
Right.
Okay, my job did this thing with my team where we did an Enneagram test. And then we
Enneagram.
had somebody come
Hold on.
in.
I'm sorry.
to the
I'm sorry.
meeting.
Explain Enneagram. Enneagram.
It is a personality profile. You answer like 50 to 80 questions. It
Okay.
took less than 15 minutes to do the test. And then it bases it gives your percentages out of 9 different personality profiles.
Okay.
And my results were so striking. My mom was in town when I took it and I read them to her and my mom was like, "Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah." Like I felt so seen when it pegged my personality profile with the top. It gives you your top 3. It ranks all 9 of them, but it tells you what your top 3, your strongest personality types are.
Mm-hmm.
And that having to know everything about all of the things is a personality type trait that we share. That's why when you said it, yeah, it's something I'm gonna have to get the link for it and I'm gonna send it to y'all if I can get the link where it's a free test thing that my job offered. So if I can, I'm gonna send it to y'all and just,
Well,
yeah,
Jules,
that
what
was
Denise is
really
saying is
interesting.
break yourself out of that.
Just start doing stuff.
Yes.
Just start doing stuff. That might be the next Free Thinkers homework when we get to the next month. It might be just start doing stuff.
Ooh, all right.
Um,
I got one on my.
actually, that's going to be it. Just start doing stuff. But for now, for those who are logged in,
No, keep
hey,
going.
listen,
Let's
next
keep
week.
going with this one. I'm good with.
Oh, we're keeping this until the end of
yeah.
February.
Yeah.
Keeping this until the end of
Yes,
February. And if
please.
we were like, we need another month, we'll do another month. That being said, we have our final Free Thinkers question of the day.
Okay.
In a Free Thinkers world, what does resistance look like? And do we want it?
Yes. Well, the second part, yes, and the first part, what in a free thinker's world, what does resistance look like? It looks like the basic roots of philosophy, which the number one thing is question everything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oof. Mm. Mm-hmm.
And there's
And
others,
I would
but
say
I don't even.
resistance
That's the first start. Question
is
everything.
being a free thinker and continuing to question and continuing to be willing to have conversation and hear other people's ideas, inputs, ideologies, and have those conversations as we always have, respectfully with each other, not in an echo chamber, but with people who have opposing ideas in a respectful manner, to be able to understand, start to gain empathy, and grow our mind thought, our thought processes in our minds, to understand that what we've done, what we've been through, all of those things have created who we are, but it's not everything. And everybody has had a different journey. And
Right.
once we step outside of that, having friends of different ages and different ethnicities and different religions and different everything is where true growth in your spirit comes, right? So
Yeah.
being willing to have these conversations that you all bring every single week to this forum, that is resistance. We talk about the things you're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
That in
Well, what is
itself
it?
is
But
an act of
again, why are we not supposed to talk about it? Like, you know what I'm saying? So even the way that we look at it, it's the fact that we are more of an anomaly is a problem itself. We should be the norm.
Right.
One thing's like Socrates, I'm paraphrasing, but Socrates said, in life, a man ought not think about life or death, only right or wrong. It's not about, again, we talk about what the effects will be. Will this cause me death or financial death or uh, uh, um, being what's the word I'm looking for? Being ostracized from your group. Don't think about that. Don't think about what could. Just think about right or wrong
Mm.
and stand on what's right.
Mm.
That's it. And now you can also say, how far am I going to stand on this platform? Because even when you're talking about protesting and resistance, then that steps into a force trying to impose will on you. So there's a need for resistance. But even in situations where it's not, I don't have to protest, but I can still speak against it.
Mm-hmm.
I can still keep a stance and say, no, this is not what I agree with. I don't believe in this. And I can keep a moral or verbal stance on that. Those should be moral responsibilities that we all carry. And anytime that we don't, then there's outside forces that's trying to get us to fall in line that we shouldn't do.
I want to add too, in a free thinker's world, resistance is paying cash.
Huh.
Pay
Say
cash.
that.
Always.
Say that.
Circulate the dollar. Don't let them do away with our dollar. Digital currency is control. Digital ID is control.
That is true.
And cash allows you freedom. That is resistance.
Mm.
I agree.
That's good. Nikki, what does resistance look like in a free thinker's world?
I mean, for me, it's every day I wake up. I'm never going to be compliant. I'm just not. I'm never going to be compliant. I'm never going to preach compliance. I'm never going to practice compliance. I'm just not, not just blind compliance. So for me, in a free thinker's world, it's just like it is. The ability to be able to use my space, and control as much as I can within my very small controllables, right? And be able to say the things that maybe everybody wants to say out loud, or think the things that everybody doesn't want to think, and not be afraid of the repercussions of those things, right? To be able to put my neck out on the line for those that might not be able to say the things that others might not, feel so comfortable saying, or to, display behaviors, that others might not feel so comfortable, right? So being able to use your privilege and denounce your privilege, and use things like that to affect whatever needs to be affected, wherever needs to be affected, I guess. So just to continue to question everything, challenge everything, and practice what I preach.
Yeah, I like that. Resistance in the freethinkers world for me would always be strategic. I think that your resistance can be used against you. Your emotions can be used against you. So use those emotions to identify that something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've identified something is wrong, then identify what you would like to do about that. And have a sound mind about what you would like to do about that. And when you resist, have a strategy. That's what resistance in the free thinkers world looks like to me. It's calculated.
I like it.
That being said, y'all, listen, this was a great conversation. I love how we did that. We did the going on in the here and now, but then we also flipped it into the free thinkers way. If you're out there, you're protesting, be safe.
Yeah.
Let somebody know where you are. Let them know the route that you're taking. Be safe. Be mindful. Do not engage ignorant people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Have each other's back.
Mm-hmm.
Know that there's, again, somebody on call waiting for you to be at a certain place at a certain time. Use the buddy system. Don't walk alone. Even when the protest is over, do not walk home by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That being said, y'all, this is really, really great. Anybody have any closing words?
No, just to add on to what you're saying, Denise, and prepare yourself for every situation as well. Don't let anything catch you off guard. There could be some crazy people who think on a different side of you who may come. How are you going to respond to that when they come and try to interrupt your space? How are you going to respond when police or law enforcement step into place? How are you going to respond when there's people within your group that are not operating as a part of your group? Have everything thought out in place. Think about every conceivable possibility so that you'll be prepared to respond when that time comes.
Because it will come. If you continue to protest, it will come.
Right.
It will happen. So being prepared is super critical. Absolutely. But I just want to say thank you to people who are protesting. I do. Thank you to those who are protesting. Thank you to those who are putting their selves on the line. Thank you to those who are bucking the system. Thank you to those who, are becoming the black sheep in the family. Thank you to those who are willing to not just sit on the sidelines and watch this shit fucking crumble. And maybe it continues to crumble, and maybe we can't stop it. Who knows? Maybe we can. But even if we can't, our children are watching. And for me, that's all that fucking matters. I may never be able to make a bit of damn difference, but I know that I do somewhere. And I know that them kids are watching. And maybe it means nothing to everybody else, but to them, they know where I stood. And that teaches them that that's the expectation. You stand on what you believe in. You never know who's watching. I mean, we see it be said all the time on social media. You never know. You never know. You never know. Just assume that somebody is. Thank you to people who choose to err on the side of doing the right thing for your brother, for your sister, for the next fellow human. Straight up.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I want to just say this last thing. Whatever you decide to do, however you decide to fight, however you decide to resist, don't have guilt about not wanting to do it how other people do it, or not being able to do it the way you would like to do it or were able to do it in the past. Every little piece counts. And even this too, the fact that you can show a stranger any kind of love, compassion, or kindness when they are constantly pushing down our throats to not like each other, to
Yep.
distrust each other. Every day that you hold the door for somebody, ask them if they need help with something, that is reminding people that good people exist. Not just the people they know, but there are good people that exist still. So continue to show love, continue to be kind, continue to be patient and loving and caring, because even that is resistance in this day and age with the
It
things
is.
that we're going through.
Facts.
Straight up.
Thank you for everybody in the comments. It was so great. We love the interaction. Bye. Do your homework.
Do homework.
And I